Why make it so hard for Americans to exercise a constitutional right? All the false talk about massive voter fraud, a complete fiction, and they would use this fiction to take away the legitimate franchise of millions of Americans.
We've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote.
Adam Schiff stepped up to the microphone, convinced he could dismiss election security concerns as nothing more than a conspiracy theory. But Homeland Security Secretary Wayne Mullin fired back with a forceful response, challenging Schiff's narrative point by point in front.
To register to vote, but guess what? A driver's license won't be enough anymore. If the Save America Act passes, neither driver's license or a military ID or a tribal ID, none of that will be enough to register to vote. And what about that real ID, the upgraded license that the federal government has been urging Americans to get for the past several years? Nope, that's not good enough either. If that doesn't show proof of citizenship, that's not good enough either. 1 in every 2 Americans don't have the passport needed to register to vote. But let's assume you get all the way through the process of registering to vote in Trump's new federalized election system. Now you face the prospect of actually casting your ballot. If you go to the White House website right now, it will tell you they plan to use this bill as a basis to ban mail-in voting. That's not hyperbole. whitehouse.gov/Save America. Read it. No mail-in ballots. That means 47 million voters from the last election would have to find a new way to vote. And it's not just voters in California, which has gone out of its way to ensure your constitutional right is not an impossible one to exercise. Nearly 3 million Floridians voted by mail, and that's not just Democrats. About 1 in 5 Republicans cast their ballot by mail in 2024. No longer if the president gets his way. Why make it so hard for Americans to exercise a constitutional right? Because Donald Trump has admitted the true aims of this bill. If the Save America Act becomes law, he says the Republican Party will, quote, never lose a race in 50 years. This is what this bill is designed to do. It is designed to lock in a Republican majority for half a century by locking you out of the polling place. Former Secretary Kristi Noem said that we need to make sure the right people are voting. Well, who are the right people? The right people, I guess, are people they expect to vote for the president's party. This is nothing less than a deliberate campaign to undermine confidence in our elections. This is a deliberate campaign to undermine confidence in our elections. All the false talk about massive voter fraud, a complete fiction, even according to the conservative Hoover Institution, the Heritage Foundation, a complete fiction. And they would use this fiction to take away the legitimate franchise of millions of Americans.
One of the greatest privileges I have is being Secretary of the Department of Homeland, and part of that is that we secure our elections. It surprised me when we first started getting in and digging into the elections, and this isn't about rehashing the 2020 election. This is just exposing what took place and to make sure it never happens again. And there's some really easy steps that can be taken to secure our elections. And it shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be something that every American, regardless if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're an independent, you're a libertarian, regardless if you live in a blue state or you live in a red state, everybody should know that their vote counts. And we have individuals that are voting that shouldn't be. It cancels out someone that should be. So I want to go through some things in a little bit more depth than what we were able to expose last night, because President Trump, he hit the highlights, and those should be scary for everybody. What we're going to do is dig in just a little bit deeper, and then we'll take some of your questions. So first of all, Department of Homeland Security, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. Mind you, we have 46 other states. And just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. We also worked with proactive states to identify 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote that are deceased. Now, these 23 states, they proactively worked with us on the SAVE program. That's Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Idaho, Alabama, Missouri, Louisiana, Kansas, Arkansas, Wyoming, Montana, Iowa, Florida, South Dakota, Indiana, Arizona, South Carolina, Utah, Nebraska, Michigan, and my great home state of Oklahoma. What's interesting to me is we're getting pushback from activist judges that are saying that, hold on, the SAVE Act or the SAVE program, they are trying to put a stop to. Currently, because of the SAVE program, we have a pending appeal because activist judges are saying what? They don't want to secure our elections? Once again, how is this a partisan issue? This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be that any judge and any God-fearing individual that loves this country should want to make sure that our elections are secure. And we have created inside DHS the SAVE program that allows states to proactively look at their rolls. And so when you have 278,000 individuals that are non-citizens registered to vote, plus 400,000 that have already been identified just in 23 states, what can we find? We have all 50 participating with us.
Left-wing politicians love to claim that foreign nationals voting in American elections is a statistical impossibility. But Wayne Mullin brought what he described as a massive reality check straight from the Department of Homeland Security. He challenged Adam Schiff's arguments by citing DHS figures that he said identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote across California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. Then he asked the question that stunned the room. If these numbers came from just 4 states, what could be uncovered if all 50 fully participated? Mullin didn't stop there. He said the federal SAVE program had already helped participating states identify another 28,000 non-citizens on voter rolls, along with nearly 400,000 deceased individuals who remained registered. According to Mullin, attempts to clean voter rolls have repeatedly been blocked through legal challenges. If you're tired of politicians treating election security like a partisan game instead of protecting every legal vote, smash that subscribe button right now that we cover the biggest political showdowns every single day, and your support keeps this channel growing. Mullin then turned his attention to Schiff and the mainstream media, arguing that election integrity should never be a Republican or Democrat issue, but an American issue. He rejected claims that proof of citizenship requirements threaten legitimate voters, insisting they strengthen public confidence in elections. Then came his strongest warning. Mullin argued that every illegal vote, if cast, cancels out the voice of a lawful American citizen, and vowed that anyone who breaks election laws would be investigated and prosecuted. He also criticized Democratic opposition to the SAVE Act, arguing it weakens election safeguards, while supporters of that position dispute his characterization. Whether you agree with him or not, Mullin delivered one of the hearing's most forceful arguments for stronger election security. What do you think? Leave